Hey guys, to continue my Tres Leches cake series, today we're making this gorgeous and delicious chocolate coffee Tres Leches cake, which was highly requested. This is a moist chocolate coffee cake soaked in a coffee milk bath and topped with coffee whipped cream. If you love chocolate, if you love coffee, and you love creamy cakes, this is definitely a must try. So to make the chocolate coffee sponge cake, we do need to start by melting the butter and chocolate together. We're doing this now, that way it has time to cool before we add it to our eggs. I'm using my microwave for this. If you do that, keep an eye on it and give it a stir every 30 seconds. Set your chocolate mixture to the side to cool, and we're going to start working on the egg whites. I'm adding some lemon juice to stabilize them. You can add some vinegar if you prefer, or even cream of tartar. We're going to whip these up, and once they start to become foamy, you can gradually start adding the sugar. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell. I post new videos every week. Keep mixing your egg whites, or I should say meringue, until it becomes glossy and reaches stiff peaks. Just like that. Set this to the side, and in this other bowl, I have some cocoa powder, which we're going to bloom with some hot milk and some strong hot coffee. These will dissolve the cocoa and intensify its flavor. The smell of this mixture is amazing. If you love coffee and chocolate, you'll want to drink this. Now, I was using a spatula, but I do recommend you switch to a whisk or an electric whisk just to avoid those lumps, and that's exactly what I did. You're going to add the butter and chocolate mixture, which will have cooled by now, and will bring down the temperature of this cocoa mixture before adding your egg yolks. I've added those in, and you want to give this a good mix before adding the flour and baking powder. I did sift these off camera, and I highly recommend you sift these as well. I like to start mixing the batter with my mixer, and then I eventually switch to a spatula so everything incorporates nicely. This looks beautiful. You know it's going to be a good cake when the batter looks like chocolate custard. To this, we're going to add 3 to 4 big dollops of the meringue that we made before, which will lighten this cake batter and yield a very soft and airy cake. Once those are mixed in, you can fold in the rest of your meringue. You do want to be careful and fold the meringue gently into the batter. We don't want to lose too much air. Pour this batter into a buttered and floured pan lined with parchment paper, and you're going to bake your cake in a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius or 320 Fahrenheit for around 25 minutes. Do the toothpick test, of course. If it comes out clean, the cake is ready. Allow the cake to cool for 5 minutes. It will start to slightly deflate, which is completely normal. We don't want domed cakes anyway. And then you're going to carefully turn it over onto a rack and let it cool completely. While the cake is cooling, we're going to make the coffee milk bath. Okay, so let's talk coffee. I got a lot of questions on my tiramisu cake video on what coffee I use, which is best, how I make my coffee. I have an espresso machine. I'm not sponsored. I love it. I use it for my morning coffee every day. You don't need one though. All that really matters is the coffee you decide to use. And I highly recommend you use high quality Italian espresso coffee because it does make a difference. And I'll leave one of my favorite brands in the description box below. You're going to add your hot coffee to the cocoa, which again will dissolve it and intensify the cocoa flavor. Once that's dissolved, you can add your 3 milks. Now, the beauty of this cake bath is that you can switch it up to your liking. If you want more coffee, by all means, add more coffee. If you don't want cocoa powder, omit the cocoa powder. However, I do think this combination is delicious. It tastes like cappuccino with cocoa. So good. Put your cake back in its pan, and you're going to poke lots of holes into the cake using a fork or a toothpick, and then you're going to pour the coffee milk bath all over your cake. Your cake will soak up all this liquid and become super moist, and the more the cake will sit in the fridge, the more it will develop this fabulous melt in your mouth texture. So cover it well and pop it in the fridge while we make the coffee whipped cream, which we'll top the cake with. Use the same measuring cup that we used for the milk bath, and this is the only time I'm going to tell you to use instant coffee. Do not use instant coffee for the milk bath. Do not use it for the cake. You only want to use it for this frosting. Instant coffee is amazing for frostings and toppings in general. I used about 3 teaspoons. You can add more if you like. Add your heavy cream and some sugar, and you're going to whip this up to medium to stiff peaks. I didn't add any cocoa powder to the cream. I wanted that coffee flavor to really shine and contrast the deep chocolate coffee cake. Now you have 2 options here. You can either serve this cake directly in its pan with the excess milk or transfer it onto a serving plate like I did. Spread the whipped cream all over the cake, and I like to smooth it out with a cake scraper. You know that's my signature cake style, but it's your cake, decorated however you like. I'm going to cut the edges for a prettier presentation, and I feel like I always have to specify this because there's always going to be somebody asking. Yes, I do eat the edges, okay? Nothing goes to waste. If you are looking for the best chocolate coffee cake, this is it. To give you an idea, it's very similar to Italian tiramisu, but with an extra chocolate cake. It's delicious and it melts in your mouth.